A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. When the crowds were increasing, Jesus began to say, "This generation is an evil generation. It asks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except for the sign of Jonah. For just as Jonah became a sign to the people of Nineveh, so the Son of Man will be to this generation. The Queen of the South will rise at the judgment with the people of this generation and condemn them, because she came from the ends of the earth to listen to the wisdom of Solomon. And see, something greater than Solomon is here. The people of Nineveh will rise up at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at the proclamation of Jonah. And see, something greater than Jonah is here." The word of the Lord. This is not the only time Jesus uses the story, the ministry of Jonah as an important lesson in his gospel. Not even just in the Gospel of Luke, but in other places where Jesus is frequently equated with Jonah, and he tells his own story of his death, even his death for 3 days, followed by his resurrection. So closely aligns with the story of Jonah and his death when he's thrown into the sea and is swallowed up by the great fish in the darkness for 3 days, descending to hell, and then being resurrected, rising up and being birthed back onto shore, as it were, as a sign of God's power, God's mercy, God's love. And so we can see a clear allusion here when Jesus equates his story with that of Jonah. It would have been something that his followers would have understood. It's an interesting idea, though, when he's talking to the crowd. Now, keep in mind, in Luke, this has been a crowd of people that have basically been haranguing Jesus and harassing Jesus to show them signs that he is the Son of God, that he can do what he says he can do, and they want proof and they want signs, and they demand that he perform for them to show them signs that he comes from God. It makes me think about Jonah and the story of Jonah in his life, where he is sent out to show compassion to the people of Nineveh, and he resists. He resists what God wants him to do, and it leads to his being cut off from life. He dies, in a sense, and it's in the midst of being cut off from life, in the belly of that fish, that he repents and he returns to the Lord and finds in it new birth to go and do the work he's been given to do. Now, in that way, Jonah isn't doing the signs. Jonah is the sign of God's power. And then if you were to look at that, then look at Jesus. As the people are gathering around him saying, perform signs for us, Jesus. And part of his whole point is, I didn't come here to do signs for you, to perform for you. I'm not going to do signs. I am the sign. I am the sign of God's mission, God's love for you, and God's call on you. So that makes me wonder about our own lives, about when we think we are called to go and do signs of God's compassion and love in this world, versus when are you called to be the sign of God's love and compassion in this world. Many of us have moments like Jonah where we feel like we're being drawn by God to do work that frankly we don't know if we have it in us to do. It sounds scary. Doesn't sound like what we want. We resist it, and what we find is God won't let us go until we go and we do that thing that we're called to do. I myself have had that resistant Jonah spirit many times in my life. And, then when I'm not allowed to resist and I get put into that role of doing the work I'm called to do in the world, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. I'm not doing signs. I'm being the sign. And so it's an opportunity for you and for me to reflect more on what does it mean to go out and be the sign of God's love, God's compassion, and God's call in this world. Amen.